What's going on, everybody? This is Twin Flames Unite, and we are at it again. And if you don't know by now, what you should know, I mean, you're on our thing. So I'm Chris.
I'm Felicia.
What up? All right. Now, this evening, we have an interesting topic to go into because this is one of the things that can be a really big hurdle for a lot of people when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to the law of attraction. This is one of the biggest hurdles that you have to get over in order to obtain your goals. And what is that today, baby?
Letting go of fear.
Yes.
And understanding fear.
Mm-hmm. So today we are going to be diving deep into letting go of our fears so that we can really become our greatest version. All right. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me go ahead and share our beautiful, beautiful screen. All right. And boom. So today we're going to be letting go of fear just like these gentlemen have. Okay. Mm-hmm. Because when you think about it, just keep these two guys in mind as we go through this this class today. Okay. Just keep this in mind that these two gentlemen had to conquer their fears because at one point in time, you couldn't talk them out of jumping out of a goodly working plane. Mm. Okay. But through some of the steps that we're going to go over today, you can see how these gentlemen overcame their fears and it had a wonderful experience jumping out of a plane.
Yes.
It's crazy.
This is the letting go of all letting go. It's like it doesn't get any more letting go than this.
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into it.
All right. Now, before we start out, we have a beautiful quote from Nelson Mandela.
All right.
Nelson
said, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but the one who conquers that fear." So it's not that you're not going to feel afraid, but the thing is you want to conquer it.
Yes. And real quickly, we're just going to jump into our objective just to kind of give you an overview on what is to come in this webinar today. Okay. So first off, one of the first things that we're going to look at is understanding our fears. Okay. We're going to see how to embrace and master our emotions. We're going to be writing down your fears, and then we're going to be demystifying our fears. Okay. Even though it says yours, it's collectively, we're getting rid of these fears so that we can step into our full power.
Exactly. And number two, we're going to be letting go of your fears. Okay. We're going to really learn ways to be fully present and understand that fear is a perception of the mind. So it's like it's a story. It's literally a story that you're telling yourself. Okay. And also determine the worst case scenario. So that's something that really helps with your fear. Okay. And also have the courage to let go and align yourself with your purpose, because a lot of the time fear is the one thing that stands in the way of yourself and your purpose.
Yes. So we're going to be diving deep. Go ahead and buckle up, because today our intention is to help you level up. Okay. Yes. Our intention is to help you let go of these fears that are holding you back, that are stopping you from achieving the fullness of life that you so rightly deserve. All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to get into it. Let me go ahead and get this next one going. Boom. Let's get it back. And we're going to get into it. All right. Boom. Let's bring that way to go. Bam. Okay.
All right.
So first off, we're going to be understanding our fears. All right. And so what's the first thing we probably need to do in understanding our fears, man?
All right. Well, first thing you got to understand is fear. You know, that little acronym, false evidence appearing real, or forget everything and run. Okay. We need to forget about that. All right. First, you need to analyze your worries. That's the first thing you got to do. Analyze it. Take time to look at it and find the root of your unhappiness. What is making you fearful? Really think about it. Okay. So keep in mind, this is not an easy process. it can be quite scary, actually, because you're talking about something that's making you afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So many prefer to just ignore their fears because they don't want to look deeper into them.
No, they don't.
For the fear of it being more fearful.
Right.
Okay, but in order to become emotionally stronger, we need to address the problem and not hide from it.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Because hiding from your fears creates a more denser shadow.
Yes. It does make things a little bit more worse. But, but in order to become emotionally stronger, we need to address these problems and stop hiding from them.
Right. It doesn't go away.
All right. So just understand that bottom line, this fear is just something that's making you unhappy. And just the thought of you attacking those things that are making you unhappy is making you even more unhappy to the point that you're like a deer in headlights.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So let's look into this a little bit more. Need to switch this around a different way, but it's all good. Boom. All right. And here, boom. Okay. So when it comes to emotions and mastering, let's embrace our emotions and master them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is important to understand that transforming fear into love isn't about repressing or denying the truth of your feelings.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you want to keep in mind that emotional mastery means approaching your feelings with a sense of curiosity. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you really want to find out. You're addressing this with a sense of curiosity because you want to find out. You don't want to hide from it anymore. You want to bring it to the surface. You want to bring the unconscious to the conscious mind. Mm-hmm. So your feelings will teach you a lot about yourself if you let them. Mm-hmm. See, sometimes we don't really, we're not in the awareness to understand that our feelings they're literally tools.
Right.
Okay, and if we utilize them as tools, we can really reach some places. Mm-hmm. So getting curious helps you interpret your current emotional patterns. So after a while, you're going to start noticing patterns in your life, like repeating patterns, cycles. And these cycles are literally keeping you from getting to the next level, whatever that is for you. Mm-hmm. All right. So mastering your emotions is a useful skill here. Yes. Okay. The thought is that you can fully embrace those emotions, acknowledge them, and find a way of processing them so that you can let go. Mm-hmm. All right. Or you can be let go from your emotions, whichever way it works for you.
Right. Now, you said a part that is really, really very key in, noticing the patterns. Now, once you recognize the patterns, that actually goes into the next thing, which is so key, which is being able to write down your fears. Okay. Now, this may seem counterintuitive, but just follow along with this for a second. Mm-hmm. Because first, you need to find the courage to sit down and write down what has been worrying you. Okay. Now, this, once again, like I said, this seems counterintuitive, but as you focus more on those fears, actually, hold on, let me look at this a different way for you, okay? Because once again, yes, this may be counterintuitive as focusing on your fears, but sometimes facing your problems is important in order to finally let go, okay? Because you got to let go, all right? You will see that some fears are actually, hold on, let me break it in for you so y'all can see, because we definitely got to get this home, okay? Now, you will see that some fears are actually ridiculous when you put them down on paper, okay? It would be easy for you to forget about them, okay? And for example, like there was a situation where back when I was younger, and I used to work at the movie theaters, right? We actually got robbed, held at gunpoint and things of that nature. But one of the things that I did, thinking back now, because there's so many things that actually created a domino effect from that experience, and it affected my present day life. Wow. So I had to go through and write these things down. And actually, once I wrote it down, and then it had an opportunity to retell the story, then it made things a lot better. I'll say that for a long story short, right? But on the other hand, you might find that fears that you don't know exist when you start writing down stuff. Okay? So don't worry about it, whether or not if it's good or bad. It's just good to write it down. All right? Many of us have fears that are eating us from the inside, and it's time for us to get rid of them.
Yes.
So writing down those fears can really help in elevating you so that you can see a higher perspective on what you perceive as a fear.
Exactly.
Okay? Awesome. And so let's go into the next one and get back into it. So we definitely want to be writing down these fears so that we can look at them and be like, not so bad.
And you want to, the most important thing is, so, you want to bring it to the forefront, okay? So finding hidden fears is actually good. Once they are on the surface, you can start the process of letting them go. So you want to bring it to the forefront. That's the whole purpose of writing it down, because when we go in our day-to-day lives, we're busy, and, things just, it pops up because these are subconscious programs that we tell ourselves. It's the stories are in our subconscious. So sometimes the fear would just come up and, it would have, I usually say that it morphs in different ways and we react differently. And it's because it's an embedded story that sometimes we forgot because it's in the subconscious. If it's in the unconscious mind, you're not conscious of it. So when you start writing these things down, it's like you're digging, and you really get into the root.
Yes.
And 9 times out of 10, like we said earlier, some of the fears are really ridiculous because these are stories that we told ourselves when we were a kid. That we just never went back under there and cleaned it up.
Right. So in writing down those fears, that then allows us the opportunity to demystify the fears. Okay.
Yes.
So this is where we have the opportunity to define, excuse me. Oh, I got some water right here.
There you go.
So just as it says here, a lot of the power of fear comes from the fact that it's often poorly understood. Okay.
Yeah. So pretty much you to free up more space for love and reduce the potency of fear, the potency of fear, deliberately seek to understand fear. So you want to understand this thing. You want to look at that in the eye. You want to really get a grasp on what this is.
Right.
Okay. Look straight at it. All right. Straight, dead center at what the problem is and begin to figure out its roots.
Right.
Okay. What it represents. All right. How it relates to your self-image. Okay. And so on. Okay.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to really break this thing apart so it doesn't break you apart.
Facts.
All right. Or it stops, it ceases to wreck your life, whatever that fear is, because it's preventing you from moving to the next stage. Yeah. All right. Now, in many cases, you'll uncover the sorts of limiting beliefs that often hold you back from using the law of attraction properly. Yeah. They came out with this big law of attraction a few years ago.
Yeah, the secret.
Right, it's the secret. And so, everybody was excited at first, and then a lot of people realizing it's not working. It's not working because you were only taught one law.
Right.
And there are like 11 others that go along with that one law of attraction. It's just one of the universal laws.
Yes.
And if you have a lot of blockages, it's definitely not going to work.
Yeah, especially that big blockage, which is fear.
Exactly. And plus you can use tools like affirmations and a focus wheel to replace those beliefs with positive, loving ones. Okay. Yes. So once you get rid of that fear, you slowly start telling yourself different stories. Now you can start replacing those stories with something that's more positive, something that's more uplifting and beneficial. Yeah. Okay. To you moving forward.
Yeah. And just look at this. Like if you're going along with this, and you've gone through and you've written down those fears and you've actually uncovered some fears that you didn't even think were fears. And then you're able to now tell yourself a different story. You're able to demystify your fears or debunk it, for a lack of better words. then you can actually move forward. Like, oh, that ain't that bad. Let me go ahead and do this.
Exactly. And a lot of the times our fears come from the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at least a good portion of what we're afraid of. I would say I would feel comfortable to say
like 99 point.
I would probably feel comfortable to say 80% of what
80%?
I'll say 80 because you got to give room. Some fears are valid.
Yeah.
But I'll say at least about 80% of our fears come from the unknown. Like we truly don't know. Most humans are designed to be afraid of something they don't know or they don't understand. So you automatically, I don't understand it, I'm afraid. I don't know it, I'm afraid. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of it is just centered around the unknown. And so if we can tell ourselves a different story, just because I don't know something, it doesn't mean that I have to be afraid of it. Or just because I don't understand something, it doesn't mean that I have to be afraid of it. Right. This is when your curious mind kicks in and you find out, you inquire with wisdom, of course, and discernment.
All right. Now, one little quick thing to look at in regards to, just another reminder, just a little nice quote for you here, okay? One of the best lessons you can learn is that life, hold on, I'm reading this all wrong. Let me start over, forgive me, y'all. One of the best lessons you can learn in life is to master how to remain calm. Okay, you see how I did that?
Right.
Like, even though I may have stumbled a little bit, I gathered myself and hold up, let's get this. There's a typo. Let's read this out. One of the best lessons you can learn in life is to master how to remain calm.
Yeah, that takes practice.
Lots of practice. Okay, and we get plenty of opportunities for it. So that is pretty awesome. So right now we just went through, we kind of really broke down what the fears are, okay? And once you recognize what your fears are, then you have an opportunity to write those things down, because the way our minds work, thoughts come through so quickly. So sometimes we don't have the opportunity to really process it. But when you write them down, then you're able to really take a pause and go back and read what you wrote. And then you can go through and demystify these fears. You can actually see, is it really false evidence appearing real?
Right. Or is it valid? Because again, some fears are valid.
Right.
All right.
Right. All right. But now we're about to step into that power. Okay. About to step into that power. So let's get into it. All right. So now we're going to be talking about letting go of your fears. Now that your fears are no longer a secret, okay, you can start to eliminate them from your life.
Exactly. And so you have already made the first and most important step. You became conscious of your condition, and now you have the power to change your relationship with fear, like forever, okay? And here are a few things that will help you to interact with fear in an entirely new way.
Yes. So we're about to go into it, because this is some powerful stuff, y'all. I hope y'all got your seatbelts on, because we're about to dive deep.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Now, as far as letting go, one of the first things that is very, very key is that you have to be fully present.
Yes.
I'm not talking about partially. We're talking about fully. Okay? Because fear is something that we think and worry might happen in the future. Okay? So if you're focusing on something that's going on in the future, then you're going to have anxiety.
Yeah.
You're going to worry. You can get afraid, because the future is really unknown.
Exactly. And that goes back to 80%. 80% of fear, it really comes from the unknown.
Right.
You just don't know. So we're programmed to be afraid. But we're going to change that story that we're telling ourselves so that we can embrace what we don't know and get excited to find out, but move forward with wisdom and discernment.
Right.
All right.
Now, so just understanding, let me just make sure I'm just checking our notes, make sure I didn't miss anything. But so once you're fully in the present moment, then you can actually relax. Okay? Because when you're in that present moment, that means that you're out of the fight or flight mode.
Yes.
Okay? Because when you're in that fight or flight mode, you're like this.
Right.
Your shoulders up, you're like, what's going on?
Right.
What's up? You know? But when you're relaxed and you're in the moment,
right.
Okay.
Exactly. When you're in the moment, I think the biggest thing is the past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist. There's only now. Okay. So the thing we fear doesn't exist because most of the time, like we said, 80% of our fear is based in the unknown.
Yes.
Right. Or we either anxious or we in the past thinking about something that already happened, which is even worse. It's already gone. We're afraid of it happening again. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and so there is nothing to fear right now at this very moment. So if we can relax and focus our breath and be fully present during every moment of our life, then there is nothing to ever fear.
Right.
Because we are never thinking about nor worrying about the future, nor any moment apart from the present moment, which is right now. Right. So if we can practice, it's going to take practice because, sometimes our mind, it wanders. And a wandering mind is a mind that is out of control. Okay. So you can think of the mind like, let's think of the mind for right now like a car. We're just going to use a car as an example. So if you're a really good driver,